maximizing behavior for a firm under monopolistic competition. We have the equilibrium of a firm under monopolistic competition, that is short-run equilibrium. In the short-run, firms under monopolistic competitive market maximizes profit at the level of output where the marginal cost is equal to marginal revenue, and the marginal cost curve cut across the marginal revenue curve from the below. So the price is greater or equal to the average total cost. So the short-run equilibrium under firms competitive competitions is actually demonstrated like this. We have the price, Tanzania shilling is the left hand side, and we have the output at x-axis. So we sketch out a graph like this. We have the price P1, that P star, and P2. So when we first draw the marginal revenue curve, and we have the demand curve. So here we have the price star and we have the price 1. That is P2 and price 1. So the area over there indicates a supernormal profit, whereby now we indicate out the marginal revenue. So we need to sketch out the marginal cost that cut across between the marginal revenue and the demand curve. That is the marginal cost. So the marginal cost, when you try to observe clearly, you will see that the marginal cost is cut below the marginal revenue. So this means that the marginal revenue is greater than marginal cost, indicate that there is supernormal profit of monopolistic competition. And where you can observe now the average total cost cut at between the line of the marginal cost and the marginal revenue. So this graph shows clearly that the shaded region shows a supernormal profit, that a firm maximizes profit at output Q star, And something to note is that at this level of output is where now the marginal revenue is equal to the marginal cost. So the marginal cost cuts from below the marginal revenue, indicate the supernormal profit of monopolistic competition. And the average total cost cut at between the line of the marginal cost and marginal revenue and the line of demand curve. So a firm makes a supernormal profit because of small entry of many firms in this particular market in the short run. Long run equilibrium. In the long run equilibrium, a monopolistic competitive firms maximize profit at the level of output where the marginal cost is equal to the marginal revenue, and the long run marginal cost curve cuts across the long run marginal revenue curve from the below. So in the long run, firms end up earning just a normal profit because of the entry of many firms in the market. So when you try to sketch out the graph, you'll observe that to see we have the price, that is Tanzania shillings, and we have the output in kilogram. We have 0 and QX. So in the long run, the monopolistic competitive firms, as I told you, maximizes profits level output where marginal cost is equal to marginal revenue. So we draw the long run marginal revenue, and we have draw the demand curve, and then we sketch out the long run marginal cost that cut across the marginal revenue, long run marginal revenue. So that's the long run marginal cost. But also here now, the long run average cost is greater than the price level. So this indicates that a firm's actual in the long runs makes just end up with a normal profit. So the price is equal to average cost. So from this graph here, a firm maximizes profit at level of output where marginal cost is equal to marginal revenue, and any output that is below the Q star, a firms will make either loss or profit. We either make less profit or loss. We either make less profit or loss, as you can observe. So that is the long marginal cost. As you can observe, that is below the marginal revenue, and that's where the actual we observe to see that in long run, in the long run equilibrium, a monopolistic competitive firms maximizes profit only, it makes just a normal profit in the market.